Hello Lighthouse. I hope that you're enjoying this week's devotional so far. Our study on Psalm 42 arrives today at verses 7 and 8. So let's just take a look at those two quite contrasting verses. Verse 7, deep calls to deep in the roar of your waterfalls. All your waves and breakers have swept over me. And verse 8, by day the Lord directs his love. At night his song is with me, a prayer to the God of my life. Haven't we all been on a similar emotional roller coaster at some point? Maybe you're there at the moment. David's Psalms are a real mix of highs and lows, don't you find? From Psalms where everything is going really well, and David is praising God without a care in the world, to, oh dearie me, what a sad and troubled person I am. This one, I think, finds him between those two emotions. Driven from his home in Jerusalem by his rebellious son Absalom, and living now in a bit of a mess on the far side of the Jordan on the one hand, yet still fully affirmed of his bright future in God's hands because of his previous experiences on the other. Incidentally, not long after, Absalom was killed by David's nephew and army commander Joab when he was found caught by his hair up in a tree. So a timely warning maybe for those still sporting their lengthy lockdown locks and planning a horse ride in Sheringham Woods later. Be careful out there. Just saying. Verse 7 begins with the words, deep calls to deep. When I read that, I immediately drift away to Matt Redman's song, When Deep Calls to Deep. Not one that I've had too much to do with, but it does pretty much paraphrase Psalm 42. So a useful listen to after this maybe. The concept of deep crops up in a number of places in the Bible. At creation, darkness was over the face of the deep. Paul was shipwrecked a few times, and he talks about being cast adrift in the deep. Likewise, we all know what happened to Jonah. In this particular verse, while there is some debate about David's intention, it's useful to maybe think of deep in terms of something that's just awe-inspiringly massive. Whether it be a literal statement about water, or David's reflection on his currently overwhelming situation, or in a spiritual sense, where from the deep within us we can call out and connect to the profound deepness of God. Deep calls to deep in the roar of your waterfalls. From modern translations, we might just get the sense of a picturesque waterfall that's powerful, but somehow safe and enjoyable to stand and watch for a while, like you might do from an observation platform when on holiday. In the King James Version, though, the word translated waterfalls is actually waterspouts. This is a picture of a waterspout, a whirlpool of water in the sky, quite a different thing entirely, and a natural weather phenomenon that David would have witnessed many times off the coast of what is now Syria. Waterspouts are often accompanied by thunder and lightning, so not something that you would want to get too close to at all. So here I think we have an emotionally conflicted David, feeling like the weight of the world is on his shoulders. The storms of life are pouring down on him, and in one sense I think he feels like problems are actually ganging up on him, calling to each other to come on and have a go and finish him off. Wave after wave, one after the other, troubles are relentlessly pursuing him wherever he goes. Picture here maybe waves rolling relentlessly up on the beach at Sheringham on a stormy day, tossing those stones around like they were nothing. He's feeling miserable, but not really understanding why he should be. Experience tells him of the amazing things that God has done for him in the past. But now, thankfully, it looks like he's finally coming to a pull yourself together man moment. He's learning to live with his new normal, confidently calling out to God in prayer, praising him with song, and knowing that God's love was there with him all along. So much for David then. How about us? I'm sure we can all identify with this psalm in some way. Scripture is provided to help us, as individuals and as the body of the church. What can we learn from it? Never has there been a time in living memory when the emotions and uncertainties found in this particular psalm could apply to almost everyone on the planet. Undeniably, COVID-19 has changed life in this world forever. A new normal has arrived for us too. I know many people are longing for things to just get back to the way they were. But is that what we really need? Graham Kendrick wrote, all I once held dear, built my life upon, spent and worthless now compared to this, knowing you, Jesus, there is no greater thing. We're all having different experiences of life at the moment, aren't we? If you're on a personal high and enjoying lockdown, then well done. Just hang on a minute and let the rest of us catch up. But if things are not so great, then it would be foolish to just say pull yourself together as if that would make your situation better. What we can say to those of faith is that you have a treasure within you of all the things that God has faithfully done for you in the past. Take hold of those things with both hands. This season is just your next step of the journey. If you're not yet of faith, if you don't know Jesus, well, your treasure box is right there on the shelf, waiting for you to collect it and start your exciting journey. He won't let you down, ever. Thank you for listening.